Well, hey everybody, I'm Joe Midland with a real honest rant, and I have a question for every single one of you. Are wrestling fans ruining wrestling for you? Because if the answer is yes, don't fucking let them take away your enjoyment of whatever wrestling you watch. If the answer is no, congratulations, you're not letting the vocal, toxic minority of wrestling fans take away your enjoyment of the greatest form of live entertainment that there is. Now, some people may not like wrestling, and that's okay. It's okay to be wrong. I mean, if you don't get it, you don't get it. I'm not going to try to explain to you why you should watch wrestling because everybody likes what they like. But for those that are wrestling fans that are watching this is mainly going to refer, to social media interactions, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm sure there are other wrestling forums and stuff like that. I'm not on any of those, but I'm mainly going to refer to Twitter. And here's why I'm going to refer to Twitter. By and large, the people I interact with are super goddamn cool. Now, there are some people I used to be cool with, I'm no longer cool with, and that kind of stuff. But that's just life. That's unfortunately how it is. I interact with a lot of really damn cool people. Do I agree with everybody? No, of course I don't, because we're not part of a collective hive mind. We're not human centipeded together as far as our brains and other parts. And if you've seen the Human Centipede movies, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know where the fuck this show is going already. But it doesn't matter if you watch WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW, the British indie scene. I think there's there's a whole bunch of companies over there. If you watch CMLL or AAA, if you watch, the Canadian independents, if you just enjoy the independent scene in any, around the US or wherever you are, it doesn't matter what wrestling company you enjoy. It doesn't matter what style of wrestling you enjoy. Just because somebody doesn't like, something that you like, that doesn't make your opinion, any more wrong or any more right. It's what you enjoy. It doesn't mean that their opinion is any more right, because guess what? They can't tell you what to fucking enjoy. I'm going to give you guys an example. I do not like deathmatch wrestling. I think that deathmatch wrestling is fucking stupid. I think it's fucking atrocious. I think it's an embarrassment. But, does that mean that I hate any of the people that are in, that are in the ring doing that stuff? Not if they're legit athletes, tearing their bodies up and everything, and that's just the style they prefer. I met Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc's a goddamn nice guy who does the deathmatch stuff, but also actually can wrestle. There are plenty of others that can wrestle, that do the deathmatch style and that kind of stuff. And okay, it is what it is. Again, not for me, but there are some people that goddamn appeals to them. That's fine. I did an unpopular wrestling opinion about deathmatch wrestling. I'm not going to get fully into that, but I'm just giving that as an example. There are some comedy things I do not like in wrestling, and I'll do a video about that at some point. But there are some things that I find funny, and there are some things that other people find funny, and that's just the type of stuff that people like. The truth of it is, it doesn't even matter if you like one company or if you like 10 companies. It doesn't matter. You have to enjoy what you enjoy. If there are certain superstars that you enjoy in one company, and then you don't enjoy them in another company, I do kind of question that. That I don't necessarily understand. People going to other companies isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. But again, allegiances change. As long as you're consistent and you have reasons like, okay, hey, I wanted to see this person get a push, but wait, turns out maybe, it wasn't the best idea. Okay, don't wish injury or anything on them. We've all been guilty of that. We've all been guilty of going a little too far with our anger. I put myself in that, and I've tried to be better about that. And fortunately, I'm not that angry, or I'm still angry, but I don't let myself get that angry anymore. They are human beings, and even people, just an example, like people that I don't necessarily care for. I'm going to give you some examples of people that I've either met or seen live that I didn't necessarily care for. Joey Ryan. I'm not that big a fan of Joey Ryan's shtick, and yes, that's, pun very much intended. I don't really care for the dick flip stuff, that kind of everything. But I want to make it clear, I met Joey Ryan at a few shows. One in January, one in March, and I think one in April. I met him a few times. Even got an autograph from the guy. Slipped him 20 instead of a 10. I know $10 may not seem like much, but you know what? For those living on the indie scene, even if they are making some good money, a little extra, they are the ones taking the bumps. Just because I don't care for Joey Ryan's gimmick, it does not mean that I'm going to be a mean guy towards him. You know why? Because he's a human being. At the end of the day, he is a human being. I can swallow my pride when it comes to that stuff, even if there's a gimmick that I don't necessarily care for or a style of wrestling I don't care for. And I'm not going to let other fans tell me, oh, well, you need to condemn this guy or you condemn this or this kind of stuff or whatever. There are people that were telling me, why aren't you condemning Priscilla Kelly? Like Priscilla Kelly, the tampon spot thing that happened. It was late last year or very early this year. I forget the exact timeline. But I met Priscilla Kelly a few times. Super sweet. She is talented. Do I care for the tampon stuff? No, I don't. But that being said, that doesn't mean that she's a bad person. It just means that it's something that she enjoys doing, that other people apparently enjoy, and if that's what they like, and that's the kind of thing that those people like, that's cool. Again, there are some people that love comedy in their wrestling. I think comedy is subjective, and I think comedy needs to. It has its place, but I don't think it's all. I don't think it's the end all be all. I like things to be treated a little seriously, even though wrestling is goofy. Wrestling is very goofy. I would prefer it to be played more like a sport, but that's just my opinion. There are people, going through all these companies and everything, and this is kind of where I'm getting. I'm going to do a few tangents. I'm going to wrap back around to the social media thing. And people in New Japan, there are some I don't enjoy in New Japan, but there are others, other fans that enjoy them, that enjoy those that I don't enjoy, and that's fine. We've come to an understanding. We don't get in arguments with each other. There are people that enjoy, in WWE, people enjoy 24/7 title stuff. I don't. And I don't try to change their minds. You know why? Because it's their opinion. I'm not going to say they're wrong because they don't say I'm wrong. If there are other fans out there trying to tell you that you're wrong for liking a certain wrestler or liking a certain style of wrestling, or, oh, you watch WWE, but you don't watch New Japan, this kind of stuff, or anything, or you watch New Japan, but you don't watch WWE, we need to stop having this sniping contest between fans. You can like more than one wrestling company, and you can also just like one wrestling company. Let's just be cool and enjoy what we enjoy. That's really what the basis of this comes down to. I enjoy all the social media interaction that I have, even with the idiots. And sorry, there are some idiots out there, but you're going to encounter idiots and everything. I'm a goddamn idiot. You're listening to an idiot on a YouTube channel. But the reason for this video is to prove that just because a few toxic dumb fucks want to, hate watch anything or want to be wrestling fans or want to say, oh, you have to like what I like, or you have to do this, or gatekeeping, all that. And I'm doing a lot of quotations because really they aren't wrestling fans. That the toxic, few that I'm referring to are not actually wrestling fans, because any social media or any media platform, if it's movies, if it's music, if it's, you go to politics, you go a whole bunch of stuff. In different fandoms in the movies and stuff like that, in different fandoms in music, in different fandoms in anime, fanime, if you will. In everything. You're going to enjoy what you enjoy. But as long as we be passionate about who about who you love and who you hate. Remember that they're human beings, though, because again, that's something that I've given into, and I've had to quell my anger and remember that they are playing characters and stuff like that. And there are wrestlers that are generally pieces of shit that I will remember. I will remember that. And you guys can remember that, and you guys can stick to your guns on that. Give you an example. There were a lot of people that booed TJP at the New Japan show I was at. That was pretty goddamn awesome. You know why that was goddamn awesome? If you know, you know. That much I'll say. That's all I'm going to get into right here. With this, though, social media interaction. One aspect that I think that needs to stop is, and this is where things are getting, you guys can get upset if you want, I don't really care. People need to stop, and particularly guys, need to stop getting upset when, oh, you're, at women, oh, you're a wrestling fan, you must just watch it for the guys. You also do realize that there are some women that like women too, right? And that there are guys that like guys, and that there are guys and girls that like both guys and girls, right? And there also are plenty that appreciate the goddamn athleticism of all these athletes out there. Some actually do love it, and most love it for what they love. Also, it doesn't hurt to find people that are appealing looks-wise, whoever you're into, whatever, whether you're into men, women, or it doesn't matter, or both, doesn't matter. If you find that appealing, great. And if you can find anything appealing in wrestling and appreciate as a sport and as a form of live entertainment, do so. You know why? Because the whole point of wrestling is to have fun. Wrestling's supposed to get you buzzed. Wrestling is inherently silly. Wrestling is ridiculous. But again, going back to social media interaction, the toxic few, many of you know who the fuck I'm referring to. I don't really have to say names. It's a lot of people that, a lot of people that are in the same, close-knit group that aren't exactly the most intelligent people in the world that try to, claim that they're smarter or whatever, or that they have insider knowledge and that kind of stuff, and very few actually do. There are a lot of people that, oh, I'm just going to make this shit up and, claim sources and this kind of stuff. That's the one thing I promised I will never do for you guys. That's one thing I promised I will never do. And I mean, I'm not putting myself up on a pedestal. I'm saying that as a wrestling fan, I'm just the same as everybody else. Sure, the good fans. Sure, I've watched it since 1985. I'm going to keep watching it because I love it. I'm going to do a video at some point about why I won't give up on wrestling. And that'll probably come up sometime down the road. But I'm never going to claim to be, have inside sources, be a journalist, be a reporter, that kind of stuff. I'm just a wrestling fan. Do I know stuff? Sure. It doesn't take much to observe it. If you observe it over the years, eventually you get to where you recognize some things and you're like, wait a second, this wasn't a good idea. This was a good idea. Why didn't they go with this? And fantasy book, and we all do that. People do it with football. They do fantasy football, that kind of stuff. Little side note. Those who were booing Andrew Luck, like when he decided to retire, fuck you, fuck everything about you. Because maybe the guy wanted to retire while he still has mental faculties about him. And he beat his body up. Blame the franchise, don't blame the player. Also, you're getting too wrapped up in fantasy football if that's the case. But that being said, I don't get fantasy football. There are a lot of people to make a whole lot of money out of it, so you know what? That's fine. Just don't boo Andrew Luck because of that. Good fucking God. Good for him that he wanted to leave. And also the same goes for wrestlers that want to leave other companies. There were people that railed against Jon Moxley. Now, once again, I've interacted with some of you guys and actually explained this, so it's mainly just other people that I've seen, people I don't follow or people that don't follow me. Or it could be people that follow me, and I mean, I don't follow, so, sorry if you guys get offended, but people were so, they were, oh, Moxley deserves so much better. He should have had more than one WWE title run. Oh, he came back from that elbow injury. He got upset with the whole shots in the ass thing, and yay, we're happy that he's leaving. And then those same people were like, what the fuck's he doing in AEW? Why is he in New Japan? New Japan's not going to know what to do with him. And then they put the U.S. title on him, and he does well in the G1, makes Shota Umino, a bigger star than Shota already was. Even though Shota had a great showing earlier in the year, beating Tanahashi in the, or not beating Tanahashi, becoming very, very close in the New Japan Cup. He made Shota kind of a big deal. I got to actually see Shota Umino at a wrestling at that same Super J Cup show, New Japan Super J Cup show, and he got a pretty sizable pop. That's working, but people are like, oh well, we want to see this guy leave, and then he leaves, and then people get upset. Or let's see Becky Lynch get a push. Becky Lynch gets a push, wins the main event of WrestleMania. Oh, she's getting pushed too far down our throats. Yeah, Mustafa Ali got in. Mustafa Ali's going to get a push. Okay, wait, Kofi's going to get a push because Ali got injured. Yay, Kofi Mania, all this stuff. He wins the title. Fuck Kofi Mania. Fuck you guys if you're going to have that kind of opinion. Not if you have anything against it. If you're not a fan of Kofi's title reign, that's okay. And this is kind of where I'm going to get off on a bit of a tangent here because I've seen so much stuff, and Daniel Bryan said it best. Fickle. Fans are fickle. And they are. And I've been accused of being fickle. And I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't changed my mind on stuff. I've done 2 lists about talents that won me over, at least to a degree. My minds can change on stuff. I'm not saying people need to be dead set on something. If you weren't a fan of Bray Wyatt's character and then suddenly are, okay, it won you over. Or if you were a fan of it and you don't think it's really all that good now, fine. Or if you think AJ Styles has bad opinions on the gay community, which he does, by the way, or at least I think he does, then okay, you could stick with that. Then there are the people that want to make it, the ones that want to be homophobic or racist or this kind of stuff and everything. And this is kind of where it's going to get back into the social media thing. There are so many people that rail against Nyla Rose and stuff like that. She's a transgender woman. Take it from somebody that used to be homophobic, transphobic, and racist. I'm talking years and years ago, and I've done that story, and I'm not going to say it again. But it's a toxic mindset to have. You know why it's a toxic mindset to have, not just in wrestling, but in life in general? Don't be that fucking wrong. If you don't think she's a good athlete, or you aren't impressed by what she does in the ring, okay, fine. No one's saying that you have to like somebody just because they're transgender, or if you don't think Sonny Kiss is a very good athlete, or you don't really care for Sonny Kiss as a character. Fine, okay. I'm throwing out those two as examples because AEW has brought them to the forefront and stuff like that, even though they were featured in other promotions before. The whole point is, don't be that toxic where you let somebody's sexuality, or the fact that it's a man transitioning from a woman, or woman transitioning to a man, whatever. Don't let that, dominate and latch onto your head and, poison your brain and stuff like that. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, and don't be one of those wrestling fans. If you enjoy people for who they are, great. If there are people that you simply do not find appealing, that's fine. But at least be honest and say, okay, this person just doesn't appeal to me. Don't be goddamn hateful just because they happen to fuck somebody different and you don't agree with it. That's fucking stupid. With social media, though, you look at everybody that is all like, most people that I interact with are goddamn cool. Some of you guys have been, long members. Some of you guys have been, long-time subscribers of the channel. Some of you discovered my channel a year or two ago. Some of you discovered it last year. One in particular that I want to point out that has, caused some very spirited discussions in a good way. Valena WWE. That's at Valena WWE on Twitter, and I think Valena, I think that's your Instagram. Let me know. But anyway, I have some fun interactions with her. We don't always agree on stuff, and we've had plenty of spirited debates. But I enjoy talking to her. She likes what I have to provide as far as wrestling knowledge or stuff like that. Even though I think I don't know any more than the average wrestling fan, she has plenty of great wrestling knowledge. Has studied, hones her craft as far as growing her channel and stuff like that, and has a major passion for it. She's an example of somebody I'm proud to interact with on my YouTube channel. Plenty of others. It's not that I'm not going to mention other. Graham GSI Matthews, Wrestle Rant. He is somebody I've talked to for 6-7 years, that kind of stuff. Great guy. Been on his radio show a few times. There are so many cool people that often there's no way for wrestling fans to ruin wrestling for you if you just enjoy it so goddamn much. All you have to do is realize that if you enjoy what you enjoy it. And I know that seemed like a redundant statement. That's really what you need to do. Enjoy it. Going back, if you enjoy deathmatch wrestling, if you just enjoy the Japanese wrestling, if you enjoy all Japan, if you enjoy Joshi Pro Wrestling, or however it's pronounced, apologies if I got that wrong. If you enjoy that, it's like the Yuya Sakazaki, I believe that's her name, the Genie Girl. It goddamn one of the best themes in wrestling and everything, and she's just so goddamn enjoyable. I have been made a fan of hers just because of just her presence and stuff like that. Sometimes all it takes to win a new fan over is to just see somebody in a different light, or, oh, hey, you know what? Like I said about those, winning, people to win me over. Sometimes all it takes is something to switch and like, hey, you know what? They aren't actually that bad. Maybe I was wrong about them. Or some of these people that I really, really enjoyed, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they aren't all that good. Having different opinions and looking at things objectively is not a bad thing. Don't let people ruin wrestling for you, because there's no point in that. Otherwise, all you're going to do is let yourself be dragged down to their level. Once again, just because I'm not a fan of somebody that you like, doesn't mean you can't be a fan of them. And same thing with, if you're not a fan of somebody, that doesn't mean I'm going to, knock you. I might ask you why, if you don't mind me asking, but I'm not going to try to change your opinion. Especially if it's, one of my favorites. I've had some people, why don't you like Bret Hart? Because he's my favorite wrestler of all time. There are others that have said, well, do you consider Shawn Michaels the greatest wrestler of all time? No, but would I argue if somebody said otherwise? No, because if he meant something to you, that is the whole point, is to, have a favorite. Everybody has a favorite. Everybody has somebody they grew up with as from a kid to an adult. Some people that still love the same wrestlers as they did when they were a kid. There are people older than me that remember a hell of a lot more than I ever will. There are people younger than me that know a lot more than I ever will. I'm just a wrestling fan. I'm not going to allow wrestling fans to ruin wrestling for me. Now, on the different side, this is actually where I'm going to finish up on this. when it comes to decisions in WWE or AEW, New Japan, or Impact, Ring of Honor, and that kind of stuff. And I really only watch first three: WWE, New Japan, AEW. That is. Impact, I don't really have time. Ring of Honor, I'm not going to watch anything Bully Ray books. Sorry, I'm just not going to. I don't want to see Velvet Sky in the ring. I don't. Sorry. That doesn't mean people that like her are wrong. That's not it. But I watch 3 wrestling companies. I'm going to try to review 3 wrestling companies, especially once AEW gets their TV deal kicking in. I'm sick of the pissing contest between some fans, though, because it's like, oh, you have to like this, or you have to like this one company, and you have to rail against the other. Why? If you can't enjoy what you enjoy, then who the fuck are you to tell me otherwise? Like, if I can't enjoy what I enjoy, who the fuck are you to tell me that I can't, that I can't like this, or that I can't like this person, or I can't dislike this type of match, but I can like this type of match? That doesn't, that's a stupid mindset to have. It's like the same people say, oh, you like this kind of music, but you don't like this. Well, no, because some music speaks to you more than others. Some wrestling speaks to others more than, other wrestling does. And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. The honest to God truth is things piss me off in WWE. Things piss me off in AEW. Things piss me off in New Japan and other companies. But there's also so much great shit that I'm not going to allow at least the bad stuff to keep me down for long. Yeah, I'm going to rail against them. I'm always going to rant. It's kind of what I do. It's kind of what I do as an angry wrestling fan. But just because I'm angry at wrestling at times does not mean I hate it. I'm never going to hate wrestling. I will hate certain aspects of it. I may hate some of the people behind it, like I hate what Vince is doing, even though WWE has made incremental improvements. But I'm always going to love wrestling. And the same with you guys, however long you've been watching it. And if there are times you fall out of it, here's a suggestion in closing. Go to your local indie wrestling events if they're in your area. Especially if you're in the US. And especially like if you're in the Northeast, that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a few wrestling promotions actually in my state. There's one that was putting on a show today, but it's in Richland, Washington. If you know anything about geography, that's about 3.5 hours from me. No. Sorry, I'm not going to go, but I mean, I hope everybody else who goes has fun. Find your passion in wrestling and enjoy it, and do not let somebody beat it out of you just because they want to be toxic and they want to be stupid. Just because I rant about shit in my reviews, does that mean I'm trying to tell you how to feel? No, I'm just displaying my opinion. The same as anybody else that has their videos. All you have to do is display your opinion. Display your passion, have fun. Who the fuck cares if anybody wants to say otherwise? Yes, it's a bit of an all-over rant and stuff like that, but no, in the end, to answer this question, to wrap this up all in a nice little bow, and no, I'm not talking about the Paper Mario 64 character, the Ghost. That was a fun character. Don't know why she couldn't damage some enemies more than others, but anyway, I digress on that. Check out the streams, by the way, that myself and the Derb did, where it was a giant, multi-game stream, or game, we did a lot of parts of that because it's a long game. But anyway, the whole point is, are wrestling fans ruining wrestling for you? No, they shouldn't. I mean, if they are, guys, don't let them. Don't let them beat you down. Don't let them do all this stuff. You know why? Because they can be the negative ones. Just because I can be negative doesn't mean I'm going to try to make you guys negative. I'm just displaying my opinions. That's all. Same as you guys display your opinions on social media. And I want to take a moment to thank every single one of you guys for interacting with me, whether on here or on Twitter. Those of you that interact with me on Instagram, thank you. Same with Facebook, but mainly Twitter, because Twitter's where I get, my biggest audience. But thank you guys in the end, for watching this video, despite how maddening it was, and just, having a whole lot of fun with this. So are wrestling fans ruining wrestling? If they are, don't let them. If they aren't, then good. You're being smart. And also, cheer who you want to cheer. Boo who you want to boo. Remember that the wrestlers are characters. Enjoy what wrestling company or companies you enjoy. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Have fun. That's the whole point of wrestling. Wrestling's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to get you buzzed. It's the greatest form of live entertainment that there is. So in closing, that's all I have to say. Don't let wrestling fans ruin it for you. And, just have fun. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.